Kanye West, well, formerly Kanye West. Now they just call him Ye. He was banned 8 months ago on Twitter, now called X.
The world is changing so quickly, and I can't keep up.
In very short form, right? So he was banned 8 months ago for what they called an incitement to violence, what Elon called an incitement to violence, because he had some anti-Semitic posts where he posted a swastika inside of a
Star of David.
Yeah. And then he also had the "I'm gonna go DeathCon" tweet. DeathCon.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wasn't banned for the DeathCon tweet. As far as I know, he was banned for one about with the swastika inside the Star of David.
Well, they said he needed to delete 2 posts, so I thought that was one of them.
Yeah.
But I think the other one is the one where he was essentially body shaming Elon.
Yeah.
Posted that one where he was looking very rotund and pale
on the boat.
On a boat with Ari Emanuel, I think.
Yeah.
And he had to delete that. But so on Saturday, he was unbanned officially. He was banned back in December. He was unbanned on Saturday for like an hour. Then they deleted the tweet where he posted that picture of Elon. And then, I don't know if he personally deleted it. They might have deleted it for him. Yeah. Then they banned him again. Then they unbanned him again. Yeah. So now he's officially back.
My favorite part is that he said DeathCon still. That he said DeathCon rather than DEFCON. That's what he should call his next album, DeathCon 3.
I just don't think that Kanye's interested in coming back to the platform if he hasn't posted anything yet.
Kind of like Trump.
It's like once you're off it for a long enough amount of time, you realize it maybe wasn't that good for you.
It's not good for
you. But Elon is trying to revive the platform by bringing back its most popular users, namely Trump and Kanye, and neither of them seem interested in being on it.
Which is, I mean, they're kind of insulated, right? They don't need it. Trump doesn't need it per se, though I think it would help him.
No, Trump absolutely needs it if he's planning on winning another election.
It doesn't feel like anybody's actually taking it. I'm sorry, but this whole election cycle doesn't feel like anybody's actually taking it seriously, except for Vivek.
I agree.
Like Vivek seems like he's taking it really, really seriously. Like DeSantis, his whole campaign feels like an amalgam, like a big, like that whole clip we just watched. That's what his whole campaign feels like to me. An awkward moment where he kind of stumbles through a room and says, ha ha ha, and then walks away awkwardly.
Yeah.
But like Trump would need it if he wants to win, I guess.
I just don't know what's taking so long.
But Kanye doesn't really need it. I mean,
Kanye is in Italy right now, and he's just chilling.
With Bianca Censori.
He's just
with his wife.
Jet setting with Bianca.
His wife. I also, I mean, it would be interesting to have Kanye back on there. Maybe he can address his concerns, like his lack of concern over Balenciaga.
I want to know why his deal to buy Parler fell through.
Yeah. Is that the one that Candace Owens' husband
owned that one.
But I would like to know what he thinks about Balenciaga now that the dust is settled.
Right.
He stood by Balenciaga.
That was among his last posts on the platform. He said, "Never turn our backs. Demna and the Balenciaga family for life. Cancel culture. Jesus, please heal." He also said, "I stand by Balenciaga and denounce all witch hunts. I cancel culture. Jesus is king. Ending trafficking doesn't start or end with a fashion campaign."
Yeah.
I won't say the rest of that tweet. But that seemed weird to me. His last posts also were about porn. He said, "The use of porn destroyed my family, but Jesus will heal everything." And he kind of called on Elon here, remove any and all forms of pornography from Twitter and every platform. Pornography is a product of pedophilia. When grown men look at porn, they're watching someone's daughter relive trauma for money.
Yeah.
Which I see a lot of truth in that. He also said, God loves Balenciaga. Love is the answer. Jesus is the answer. I just don't think that God loves brands instead of people.
Yeah.
In a certain sense, yes, God loves the people that, posted that horrific ad campaign. But a brand isn't a person. So I don't know why you would stand behind a brand instead of a person. And it was just confusing to me since Kanye has, I guess, made a name for himself being this anti-establishment celebrity.
Yeah. And
standing against the darker parts of Hollywood that we know.
Unless it's a fashion brand, apparently.
Well, yeah, unless it's a fashion brand that has collaborated with your business. I I mean, I wonder what he would think of Sound of Freedom at this point. He's probably seen it.
So wait, so is the idea here that how does he feel about Kim doing porn then? Like, because was she reliving trauma? Is that what he's saying for her? Because the trauma is that her mom made her do it and then released it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously she never did it in like that was never her career.
Yeah, but still.
It's the same thing. Yeah. But when he says that it destroyed his family, I think he's referring to his own consumption of porn.
Okay, I was going to ask that question next.
Not Kim's
is that what
production of porn.
So he's saying that his use of it hurt the marriage?
Probably, yeah.
Proof that it's extremely addictive, because somebody like him does not need to use or watch porn. He could have almost any woman that he wants, I'm sure.
Well, that's the confusing part about it is like usually, at least this is my opinion, when someone turns to porn, it's because they've already become so disinterested in actual human connection that it's like a cope. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like they've given up on the idea of either because they're not good with people, or they've been hurt so badly before that they don't want to go through that again, or they, something like that. And it could probably start off as a coping mechanism to start and then become an addiction that breaks them from the ability to even have, functional relationships.
I agree, though, that Twitter needs to crack down on porn, especially since one person named Layla Micklethwait, who she's like the leader of the like trafficking hub movement. She's talked a lot about how Twitter as a platform, at least before Elon's taking over, did really slack on enforcing rules against CP and exploitation material on the platform. And there have been reports that since then it's drastically decreased. But I think it would be good for the platform if it banned that stuff, because essentially they're trying to copy TikTok, right? Yeah. Like they've already implemented this like video but like they're trying to make it Instagram, TikTok, like all platforms in one.
Wearing too many hats.
It's like, imagine going on the TikTok For You page and it's just hardcore pornography every video. That seems like what would proliferate on Twitter, on a For You page on Twitter. Yeah. I don't really scroll videos on Twitter anyway, though.
I don't. I mean, is that an option to even I just
if you click on any vertical video and scroll, it will just go. It's like a For You page in that way.
I don't ever do that.
One reason that Kanye might not be posting on Twitter again is because there are rumors the FBI is going to probe his presidential campaign.
Oh, he's still running for president.
That's still a thing.
We need, okay. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get, so we can get Trump, Vivek, and Kanye West is speaker. It says Kanye West is press secretary.
Recent reports of a potential FBI probe into Ye's presidential campaign might compel him to hold his tongue on the platform. Also, it looks like Twitter resuspended his account, so it didn't last long, but now he's back on the platform. But the reason I voted in this poll today that, maybe he should stay banned is because Twitter wasn't the best thing for his mental health.
Well, it's not
the best thing for anyone's mental health, really.
Yeah.
People say it all the time, that it's a cesspool and it changes your perception of the world because you're only seeing the most extreme takes.
It's really funny too, because over the weekend I hung out with some friends that skate that I've seen more than a couple of takes on the internet where we disagree on plenty of things, and none of that existed in the space that when we were in the real world, right? Like, and we talked about some stuff like that. Like, there was definitely things we disagreed on, but the mood was inherently more pleasant and easygoing when you have to recognize the humanity of another person. And I do feel like both sides, and I do mean both sides, are guilty of, first of all, needing to have an opinion on everything on Twitter. Like, you have to have a take on everything, even if it doesn't even interest you. It's kind of like algorithmic farming. Like, you're like, oh, I have to have a take on this because it's in right now. And they have to have a take on everything. And you don't need to. you don't need to have an opinion on Twitter, like on absolutely everything. Like if you're a Renaissance man or woman and you have an interest in literally everything, I suppose that makes sense for some people. But in that case, then why wouldn't they only talk about why are they only talking about the things that seem to be catching fire algorithmically? And I feel like you do yourself a disservice when you water your opinions down by having a take on literally every issue that comes out.
One thing that does make me happy about Kanye getting unbanned is how mad this is making people. One person called it shameful that he's been reinstated. Absolutely shameful that Kanye West's account on Twitter, now referred to as X, has been reinstated. Kanye used this platform to go on an anti-Semitic tirade where he threatened to go DEFCON on Jewish people. Another person said, "This is sending the message that hatred is the currency of this platform."
That's not what that's sending a message for. That's the most hyperbolic of takes.
I mean, really, the message that this is sending is that only Hollywood elites have a chance of getting their platforms back. Yep. And if you're just a nobody who loses their platform for probably,
is Alex Jones still banned?
Stupid reasons.
Alex Jones
exactly.
Is still banned.
He's still banned because of Elon's personal prejudices against him as a person. Only celebrities or people that Elon Musk likes on a personal basis are going to get their platforms back.
I kind of like the idea.
That's
that
the
he
actually
just
worrying thing about it.
I like the idea that he just embraces it and he says, like, look, like send me a video.
No, but he still calls himself a free speech absolutist.
Yeah.
While tons of people who don't have nearly the same following and audience as Kanye are still not going to get their accounts back.
Nope.
A permanent suspension is supposed to be permanent. Is that not what it's for?
Is there because I always hear like people kind of conflate banned and suspended all the time.
Well, yeah, he got temporary suspensions before he was permanently banned. But it's like if you don't have a fan base and a legal team to advocate for you to get your account back, then you're screwed. Yeah. Which isn't fair.
And if I was Kanye, you don't need it, man. Like you've got your money, you've got your. Granted, I'm sure he wants to make more music one day. He's running for president, so if he needs to use the platform, he needs to use the platform. Also, there was once. Remember, they couldn't ban Trump when he was president because they can't ban the account of a sitting president, right? Because he has to. It's ruled that he has the right to speak to his constituents through that platform.
Right.
The same should be true, I guess, for people who are candidates.
Well, that's only the case for, I think, candidates for public office in Florida.
Okay.
Any other state, then you're not entitled to a platform on Twitter, which is, again, insane.
Yep. I do think that he should have been unbanned. I think that Alex Jones should be unbanned.
But Elon is not a free speech absolutist. He's just not.
Not in the way
this is what I was honestly thinking about this a lot over the weekend, just like, the concept of free speech, because this is such a noble concept that we value in this country, but I think we've given it an honest try. Like, we gave it the old college try, and nobody seems capable of either enforcing it indiscriminately or using it properly,
Explain that.
This is actually because I watched this debate on the Whatever channel between a Catholic apologist named Trent Horn, who I've watched before. I really like his content, and Destiny, where they were debating about abortion. And it was it got to very metaphysical. Destiny did a debate with a couple of female pro-life activists, including Lila Rose, before, that didn't go as well because they just seemed a little bit too emotional rather than logical in the debate. Even though I'm staunchly pro-life, I was invited to do that debate and alongside those women, and I declined because I'm not an expert on life issues. I don't know all of the statistics and the facts. I just know that my conviction is that I'm pro-life, and I'm not going to move on that, but I'm not the person to argue for it on a public platform in front of millions of people. But Trent Horn definitely is. Like, he's like the standard bearer, I think, for someone to argue on that side. And he did a really good job. I watched most of it. But it got to a point where Trent was interrogating Destiny's concept of like what constitutes a human person, and Destiny said it's somebody is a biological human, obviously, who has human consciousness, a human conscious experience. And when he was asked to define what that is, he didn't. He was incapable of defining it because he was like, oh, it's so complex. So at that point, your argument collapses in my mind anyway. But, and then Trent asked him this hypothetical question. Destiny has this hard line for some reason that the human conscious experience comes about at 20 weeks to 26 weeks in utero.
Okay.
And Trent asked Destiny if we had a drug that we could administer to a fetus that would prevent the fetus from ever reaching human consciousness, and they would continue biologically growing and developing and be born and grow into what appears to be a full adult human person, then would you approve of it if we sold these biological human beings as sex dolls or slaves or something like that? And in order to be consistent, like philosophically consistent, Destiny said yes.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I know that if I were on the other side of this table, I would be like, I would stop the line of questioning and just be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's so disgusting that you would even say that.
$20 super jet there from Pixel Kitten VT.
Finally caught you live. Thanks for being an amazing example for us female content creators. Keep up the great work. And Brett, you rock with some great thought-provoking points.
Thank you. There's a show. Thank you, by the way, Pixel Kitten. There was a show called Dollhouse where they can wipe the memories of people, and they're basically a base level human being, and they can have consciousnesses uploaded to them. But then when they're wiped, they're basically docile. And
it's sort of like Severance.
Yes.
Too. But he said, like, if we were able to like erase memories, then that still wouldn't be okay. That wouldn't be ethical because someone had a human conscious experience at one point. But if they never reached human consciousness, then it would be fine to sell these bodies essentially as sex dolls. And the reason I wasn't on the other side of the table is because I'm not Trent. Because Trent was able to actually engage with that argument, articulate it
in a way that yours is you have moral convictions.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're the best
but
person.
I'm just like, I was like reeling at this, and I looked at the comment section, and it's all people saying like, wow, it's great that you hosted this debate. Civility is so hard to find, and like between people that disagree, we should be able to logically argue our opinions and not resort to ad hominem attacks.
Okay.
And I was just like, what is the value of civility when we've gotten to this point where you're so like Destiny or other interlocutors, how are they valuable to the conversation when you're so like morally atrophied that you would approve of that for the sake of being philosophically consistent? And that just like led me down a rabbit hole, just thinking like, is free speech really worth it? Like this, I know it's this noble value that we have, and it would be great if we could have it, but we've tried it. And this country is the closest we've gotten to a society that's actually free.
The backbone,
and that has actual free speech, and we still don't actually have free speech.
But the problem is in this case, you just pointed out all the reasons why you found Destiny's argument wrong, right? What, like,
not really,
why you disagree with them?
It's not why I disagree with it. It's just.
But what I'm saying is that,
I feel like I have an instinctual reaction to it.
If the speech isn't free, then he can't make those arguments. In the best example you'll get to actually change someone's mind is when this other guy can provide you a clear, concise, and reasonable explanation to the contrary to what Destiny is saying, and you don't get to have that discussion, and then the only people that end up seeing it are the people that either already support him or already don't support him. You're looking to change the minds of people that haven't made up their minds, especially with debates like that, right? So without the free speech to do that, there's no way to prove that Destiny's take is bad.
I guess it was just blackpilling for me to go. Like, I went into the comment section to check if anybody else was like, what the fuck did I just listen to? And nobody felt that way. It was just like civility above all. And I mean, personally, I think they're right. I think that his take
Whatever, whether
don't know.
whether I agree with it or whether I disagree with it, the fact that the other guy was able to explain to him and articulate why he's wrong, why he thinks he's wrong, he's going to sway a lot more minds than somebody just spewing into a microphone to no debate at all, or not being able to be heard in any way, shape, or form, because then people fall underground, your take becomes more radical, and the viewpoints end up being worse because you don't get to air this out in a public platform.
I guess I would just rather see a debate between someone like Trent Horn and pro-choicers who actually feel morally convicted in being pro-choice, rather than someone who doesn't believe morality exists at all.
But the point of the free, like, whether you believe that free speech is a good thing or a moral thing, the point is that the morality shouldn't be involved in whether they're allowed to speak or not. You're allowed to speak immoral things. You're also allowed to counter with the morality you believe is a better idea or a better way of living. And that's the whole point of it, I suppose.
Everyone in the chat's going to be on your side. I already know it.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.